Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Manny, aka Hisoka. No one actually calls me Hisoka. I just really like him, and this is probably why I don't have a girlfriend. After reading this title, I'm sure you may be thinking, how in a game mode where literally half the people try to knife fight you, how could that be better than like KOVAAKS, for example? And if you are thinking that, which you probably are, because you just asked that, well, if you are one of those people, whatever. Let's just get into it. Now, the reason Deathmatch is a better aim trainer is because it doesn't only work on that raw aim. KOVAAKS, you only work on that, only flicking micro. You don't get to work on your movement, your crosshair placement, counterstrafing. And all those are just as important, if not even more important, than the pure aim, the raw aim that you're working on when you're KOVAAKSing, AIMLABing. So to really be a good aimer, you're going to have to work on all of those at the same time. Now, someone who might spam KOVAAKS and get top 100 scores, but if they have bad crosshair placement, don't know how to counter strafe, they're not going to be good at VALORANT. They'll probably lose to some silvers that know how to do that, even though their aim is heads and shoulders above everyone else's in the lobby. And this is where Deathmatch has that upper hand on any aim trainer that you might play, because it works on all of those mechanics that you need to be a good VALORANT player. Counter strafing, recoil control, and everything else that you need, crosshair placement. Everything that you might need, you will get to work on when you're playing Deathmatch. So instead of clicking squares or circles on an aim trainer, so you should get into Deathmatch and start playing. And now, just playing Deathmatch, it will improve, but you have to properly practice. And I say this because if you're going into Deathmatch, not counter-strafing at all, you're never going to learn counter-strafing. So I recommend, especially if you're a newer player, in that lower rank, you probably don't know how to counter-strafe properly. Now, when you go into Deathmatch, instead of focusing on your gunplay, you should actually be focusing on what you're doing with your keyboard. You should be counter-strafing. So let's say you practice counter strafing, you get that down, you're great at counter strafing, you hit it almost every time. Now you should be working on your crosshair placement. I mean, a lot of people have crosshair placement. That's more of an easy one to like get, because you could noticeably see when you have bad crosshair placement by VOD reviewing or even catching it mid game. But counter strafing, the hard part and why a lot of people tend to lack in it, is because you can't pick it up or notice that you're doing it as easily, because you can't see it in the game. It's from you have to remember to do it. That's why I recommend going in Deathmatch. And now with Deathmatch 2, on top of learning all those basics like counter strafing, recoil control, which is recoil control is very underrated, and I'm probably gonna make a video on that by itself, so look out for that. That'll probably be coming up after this video. But also, on top of learning all those basics, you get to get the right feel of a gun. You get to feel how long it takes to reset. Now let's say you start clicking heads, you feeling like you shroud, you clicking bop, 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 bop. Then if you're doing that and Deathmatch is starting to feel easy and you're actually working on it properly, you learned counter strafing, crosshair placement, real recoil control. And something that I see a lot of even higher rated players mess up a lot, they only learn a few guns. And you should learn the guns that you use. You should learn the guns that you use on save rounds, full buy rounds, pistol rounds, and even other guns that you might only sometimes buy, because it's better than not. Because let's say you have to buy that gun. Now, for example, let's say your team is forcing, and you usually buy up to a Spectre on a force round. But this time you don't have enough money for a Spectre, and you only have enough for example, a Stinger, and you have to buy that Stinger to force with your team. If you don't know how to use the Stinger, then it's going to be a lot harder for you. That's why I recommend learning as many guns as you can. Now, for example, if you always pick the Spectre over the Ares, there's probably no reason to learn the Ares, or the other way around too. So learn as many guns as you are going to use, even some ones that you might use once every few games. Now, what I actually recommend is actually going into that deathmatch, treating it as a aim trainer. And you might question, what does this mean? For example, treating it like an aim trainer, let's say you get the sheriff and you only shoot when your crosshair's on their head. Only go for the head. I wish there was a way you could turn on headshots only, like kind of what Overwatch has with their custom games. I wish Valorant would bring that, because I think that'd help a lot. And even when to reload, because I see a lot, especially at the lower ranks to like diamond, I see a lot of players get this wrong, is reloading when they don't have to. Obviously it doesn't happen as much once you hit the diamond ranks, but it still happens, and it's it's like, oh, it just hits me right there, because I hate spectating someone and they reload when they have, and there's, so 1v1 they have 10 bullets left, and they reload and then they die for. Get out of the habit of reloading. And something I could even recommend is go to an unrated. Don't reload unless you're under 5 bullets. And something I cannot stress enough is this will not happen overnight. You will not see improvement overnight. If you counter strafe for one day, you're not gonna have it down perfect on the second day. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, you could start to get the feel. You're not gonna really learn it. I mean, and it's different. I can't even say within a week, within a month, it's different for every single person, but you have to be willing to put in that effort to actually improve. When you see these pro players, I mean, it might feel like they just got it through overnight, but if you really look into their background, they've been playing games for 5 years, 10 years, sometimes 20 years. And obviously you don't have to put in that time to get to that level. It's not going to happen overnight, is what I'm trying to say. And then if the Phantom and Vandal are starting to feel easy in Deathmatch, I recommend handicapping yourself by only using Sheriff or even the Ghost. And yeah, that's really it on why Deathmatch is better than any other aim trainer. Even if you disagree, you think I'm just spitting nonsense, I'm not making no sense, leave it in the comments. Honestly, I could be wrong too, honestly. Obviously, I'm not some genius. I'm just some guy on the internet trying to help people out. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, and hopefully I'll see you clicking heads in Deathmatch. See you later. Bye.